Hello everyone, welcome to this discussion video slash predictions where we'll be going over the Switch 1 presentation that happened last week and then going over our predictions of the Switch 2 presentation that's happening this week. I am joined by Stormyman. Yes, I was not lying when I said that I had friends. I just they weren't available and stuff, but I do have an actual other person this time. I'm joined by Stormyman here. Would you like to say hi? Yep. Howdy there.
Hey there. Yep. Hey, Stormy Guy here. Definitely didn't get a little bit of added money in my wallet.
Yeah. So, so we'll be going over, like I said, the first Nintendo Direct here, and then about halfway through, I'd say we'll start talking about our predictions for the Direct 2. So, I guess I'll start us off here with kind of like going in order. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD Remake, we already kind of knew about these, and they still look pretty solid, but like, I don't have a lot to say, because I'm not a big Dragon Quest guy. Then after that, just a bunch of anime games and stuff. Shadow Labyrinth, it's so weird.
It'd be pretty nice if they called it Dragon Warrior.
Yeah, I guess so. So, and then after that was Shadow Labyrinth, which it's a really weird game. It's like Pac-Man, but also Metroidvania, Hollow Knight. So that's strange. That's weird. Do you have anything to say about Shadow Labyrinth? Or
It's like new, but not new, but like super new. That's probably a nice step into getting into some new, real like original stuff. So that'll be pretty nice.
I see. Yeah, like kind of using that Pac-Man IP that way, but like still being very much weird and different and stuff. Any other notable games you kind of want to talk about here before we get to like the first big thing in Metroid Prime 4?
No, but it's pretty nice that they're making Patapon more available for other things. I remember so long ago as just getting to try out the demo on a friend's PlayStation Portable, and it's like, man, this thing is great, and it's just always subtly there in the mind, but like never really hadn't really touched upon it.
I see. That's interesting.
Patapon.
Yeah, and there's some other interesting stuff with Patapon, but I'm gonna kind of save that for another game that's has a similar kind of weird thing going on with the two. But at least next we'll kind of talk about Metroid Prime 4. The trailer looked good, the gameplay looked good. I was shocked that they didn't announce a release date, because like it's been forever and they keep saying 2025, and I'm just like, I just find it really strange that they didn't put out a release date for it. With that said, the gameplay looked really cool. The like sort of like force stuff, I guess is the best way to put it, but Samus looks unique and interesting, and like retro, they proved with the Metroid Prime remaster that they still got it. They still have this. But you got any interesting thoughts on Metroid Prime?
Like, I haven't played any of the Metroid Prime games, but this is like they're probably, if things go well, they're probably gonna like remake the first 3. So this could like really become a big thing for them.
I mean, they already remade the first one. We're just kind of waiting around
for
they
2
and 3. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, no announcement until 2 and 3 here, but like it's fine, it's whatever. So, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, that was a pretty big one for midway through. A couple of other games before the next like super big one. A weird Disney villains cafe thing. Which book piqued my interest, because you know it's sort of like a like Magic Academy sort of witch thingy, and that's really interesting to me because if you couldn't tell, I'm an Owl House fan, a really big Owl House fan. This is probably one of the closest things we'll get to an Owl House video game, because you know, Disney sure as heck isn't recognizing Owl House exists. But yeah, Witchbrook is definitely a game that caught my eye in sort of like in between like the big titles. Outside of that, Gradius got an anniversary collection that was cool. That was and also a new game that was kind of unexpected. But yeah, that was another really weird announcement. Anything of these like next couple of games here that piqued your interest before we talk about Pokemon?
No, I was just really enjoying the upcoming whimsical adventures.
I see. So this was a bit surprising to me because I didn't think they were going to talk about Pokemon in this direct because they just had a Pokemon thing. But we got some new ZA news. Basically the nighttime sections are going to be like all battles all the times, and also, you know how they stole dodging from the anime? Well, now they stole the World Coordination series from the anime, and now you got to like build up from rank Z all the way to rank A, and that's fun. That's kind of like the new thing they showed off with Z. So just more Z news. This is the most excited I've been for a Pokemon game forever. Granted, part of that is definitely because I'm a Gen 6 baby. You know, Gen 6 was my era of Pokemon. Like, that's the one I was 10 years old in and like grew up in. You know, Alpha Sapphire was my first Pokemon game that like I owned, and like that was mine. I could just play whenever I want. So obviously I have a lot of nostalgia going into this game, but do you have any extra thoughts on the new ZA stuff? Or I guess ZA in general, because haven't really gotten your opinions on that.
It's pretty exciting, like, to get a more maybe slightly kind of more rugged or kind of more serious tone for a Pokemon game where you get to just really feel like you're in a city. You're not just on some grand adventure. You get to
sort of like that.
You get to enjoy the city life, the urban fantasy.
I mean, hopefully the story can like live up to that, because you know, when you're in this like a relatively speaking a smaller area like a city compared to like a whole region, you gotta make it up. You gotta make up that scope scaling down thing, and I feel like building up on the story. Which, granted, Pokemon XY leaves a lot of open questions that can be perfectly filled in with story and stuff. But yeah, just a lot of excitement going into ZA. A lot of like hopes and dreams lying on it here. So yeah.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if they're gonna like somehow like kind of redo like how the Mega Pokemon like came into being.
I don't think so, because like they already had that explanation X and Y, and granted they kind of changed a little bit in ORAS, but not really enough to where it's a big issue, and I don't think they want to do that a third time. So
or maybe some kind of weird other alternate history where it doesn't happen. Although they probably would. Everybody loves the Mega Pokemon.
Yeah. So the next game was a shocker, a really big shocker, and kind of like the highlight of the whole thing. We finally are getting a new Rhythm Heaven game after like, what, 9 years? It's 10 years. 2016 was Mega Mix, I think. But like, yeah, that's a huge, huge in air quotes. It's huge for like the kind of the fans who like really love Rhythm Heaven, because like Rhythm Heaven fans are really dedicated. They really wanted this, and like it's like this is like a big deal that they finally have this, and like this was about the best time to do it. Like, yeah, like Switch is on the last leg of its life. It kind of like you're not really gonna sell it to a lot more new people, so you might as well like keep the ones you have still there. And you know, certainly Rhythm Heaven's people are definitely the kinds of people that are going to be sticking around a little while for the Switch. But yeah, just a really huge, exciting announcement that honestly, this and the one at the end that we'll talk about later, these two announcements kind of like made the direct for me. But you got any thoughts on Rhythm Heaven?
Nintendo, I think, is they're making their comeback. They're not just like comeback of like the games, but like comeback to the love for their fans.
Yeah, this is definitely there's definitely the direct where like all of like the weird, obscure Nintendo games and IPs that haven't been doing a lot in a while finally got a time to shine here, and Rhythm Heaven definitely is the pallbearer for that. The next news was kind of weird. Basically they said, hey, you know how you can like have like your game cartridge and you can take it out and loan it to a friend and whatnot? Well, we're gonna try to do that with game cards, and like it's really weird, and I don't really understand, because like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you could kind of do that already with like the normal Switch. Like if you have multiple people's accounts on your system, you can like download the games that are on somebody else's account and play them. But it's certainly weird. It's certainly a very Nintendo solution to this kind of thing. But ultimately, I don't really mind it as long as they keep the physical games, and like they are keeping the physical games for the Switch too. They've already confirmed that that's the case. So as long as they do that, I don't really mind what they. I don't really mind to an extent what they do with the virtual games, as long as they don't do like some of the more icky practices with digital games that a lot of other game consoles are doing, but they haven't seemed to be doing that. But yeah, you got any thoughts on the virtual game cards, or just kind of like, I don't know what's going on, so I'm just gonna ignore it kind of thing, right? Got any thoughts on the game cards?
It seems like a nice thing. Like I remember, like when moving between like the Nintendo DS systems from the regular DS, the DSi, then DS Lite. Or I got that order a little mixed up, but it's like the stores were different, and they didn't have like a very good, handy like way for transferring the games, especially like if you're like upgrading from one we're upgrading from one console to the other. You couldn't really like have both systems on hand to like have them both together, transfer the game titles. So this is at the very least a nice solution for that. I'll be kind of excited.
So after that, just kind of a couple of other things. Iron Life, who cares? Star Overdrive, I think that was at the last Direct, so that's coming out here soon. A couple of other things. Saga Frontier is getting a remaster. Monument Valley's trilogy coming out. This one's interesting. Everybody's golf hotshot. This was really shocking to me, because like the thing is, Hot Shots Golf is kind of like a Sony thing, you know, like it was a Sony studio that made that, it's a Sony studio that ran that. It's just like, it was so weird and bizarre seeing it, and like that on top of the Patapon 1 and 2 thing, it's really strange that we got two Sony games here, because like, I mean, let's be real, Hot Shots Golf, that was Sony's equivalent to Mario Golf, you know, like could you imagine like somebody in like 2007, 2008 hearing that, hey, in like 15 years, these games that are like very clearly Mario Golf competitors are going to come to a Nintendo console. Like, it's strange. It was such a strange announcement, but it's also a cool announcement, because Hot Shots Golf I've heard really good things about, and you know, I heard really, and like, they got to be better than the current Mario Golf outings, you know. So, but like, got any thoughts on Hot Shots Golf?
It's like Sony is trying to, or at least the company that's more responsible for that Hot Shots. They're trying to think that they can invade Nintendo's territory with their golf game.
Well, I mean, if Mario Kart's gonna sit on it, Mario Kart. If Mario Golf's gonna sit
like
on
invade
laurels, I guess
the console
it's worth
itself.
a shot. Like, yeah, a very odd announcement, but a very
Take
cool
the
announcement.
competition.
So other stuff, there was this Marvel comic Invasion. I think it was made by the same team behind Team NT Shredder, which I heard really good things about. So, you know, giving them the Marvel IP, that's really exciting. It's like, just kind of, you know, that team, they know what they like to do. They like to do that 90s style beat 'em up, and they'll make the best one possible. So, yeah, that's an interesting game. And the last game announcement, another 10-year hiatus game, Tomodachi Life, is back, and just another like huge win for the weirdo IPs that Nintendo hasn't really touched in a long time, that had like really hardcore dedicated fan bases, and just another really exciting thing for them. This, like I said, this alongside Rhythm Heaven, the new one, kind of, to me, like, were kind of the big things for this direct, more so than like Prime 4 and whatnot. Just like another weird game that people are excited for, and I definitely a really good last announcement in terms of like game stuff for this direct. Do you got any thoughts on Tomodachi Life?
I feel like that maybe secretly Reggie is like back and like behind the scenes kind of directing things. He's making sure we get more good Mii usage, and kind of just maybe he had that like fever dream where it's like, you know, the people really need some hope. They need some Tomodachi Life.
Yeah, who's the first like meme character you think you're gonna put in for Tomodachi Life?
Probably, I don't have one specifically, but just probably like the most ugly looking Mii I can make.
Yeah, just then hook him up with whatever family or friend member you want. Yeah. So,
yeah, like max eyes, max size nose, max mouth, max eyebrows, max pimple,
yeah,
all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that it's certainly gonna be You're certainly living the dream there, the fever dream, we shall say. And so that was the last game announcement, but they also had one more announcement, which was this app, this Nintendo Today app, which I don't get exactly, but like I guess I should explain a little more. Basically, it's a news app, but like exclusively for Nintendo news, and also Nintendo seems to now be putting out news only through the app because they just announced that Zelda movie through the app exclusively. And granted, so like they're certainly trying to get some momentum behind this, and like I don't really get it. 'Cause like, I mean, who sits down and thinks, gosh, I want a news app, but only for Nintendo news, and just exclusively Nintendo news. I wish there was an application for me. Oh my god. You see, like that's, I don't understand, because like, again, why would you want a news app for just Nintendo stuff? With that said, I don't really mind either way. I mean, not that it matters, because like I'm gonna get my news through the internet's gonna disseminate this news to me either way, so I don't really, it's
exactly.
not really too bad. I just don't understand it. But do you think a little more highly of this than me, or not?
It's a neat idea. Maybe they're trying to do something with like ads, but at the same time, they might, if things go well with it, they might add new functionalities like exclusive offers that you can get through said app, like announcement about a mystery gift for the next Pokemon game, or news on like some kind of Mario Kart tournament, or perhaps they might add some kind of connectivity with the Nintendo Alarmo and get more alarms. They need more alarms for the Nintendo Alarmo.
Yeah, I guess there are a bunch of different things that they can do with this. It's just that I still can't quite get over that initial hurdle of it's a news app, but only Nintendo news. But yeah, so that was kind of the direct overall. For me personally, it was a pretty okay direct. It was about as good as you can expect for a Switch 1 direct this close to the Switch 2's reveal. Rhythm Heaven is a fantastic announcement, and Tomodachi Life is also a fantastic final announcement. And more Metroid and Pokemon news is awesome. I'm still, like I said, I was a bit bummed that Metroid Prime 4 didn't get a final release date, which is really concerning that apparently it's not close enough to release to where they feel comfortable putting out a release date for it. But outside of that, it mostly met my expectations. I feel like those two big announcements of Rhythm Heaven and Tomodachi Life kind of help justify this direct's existing, because like those are like games that are really big and important to their fans, but kind of like not something that'll push a system, which, considering how far we are with the Switch, you don't really need to push it anymore. But outside of that, I mean, everybody's Golf Hot Shots, that was a cool announcement. Like I said, I obviously, as a Pokemon fan, I'm really excited for Pokemon ZA, but yeah, just an overall really good direct. It didn't go above and beyond, but it met my expectations. What about you, Stormy? What do you think?
I think wasn't very super duper special to me, but it's nice seeing that Nintendo is still doing strong, is still going strong.
All right, so that's kind of our thoughts on the Switch 1 Direct. Should we now move on to Switch 2? Discuss predictions and thoughts and what we think will happen this Wednesday?
Absolutely.
Alright, so do you wanna make your predictions first, or should I go first?
You can go ahead and make your predictions.
Okay, so my first prediction is kind of like a safe one. I feel like Mario Kart is going to be the launch title for the Switch 2. If not, then at very least, like within the first month, Mario Kart 9 is going to be out, or 10, or whatever however you count tour or whatnot. But like that new Mario Kart game that they showed off with the reveal, that's going to be like either really close to launch or just straight up is the launch title. I feel like they wouldn't be showing it, they wouldn't have it be the thing that they showed to announce it if that wasn't the case. And it's a solid launch title because, Mario Kart 8, despite being a 10-year-old game when it now, and it was like a 3-year-old game, 4-year-old game when it came out, it's still the best-selling Switch game. People just keep buying this thing. And so, like, I feel like having a new Mario Kart game would be a money printer. Granted, I also think that if they had just released Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with all the DLC on Switch too, they would have also printed money. But like I said, Mario Kart, it prints money either way. It's a solid launch title for this.
A nice way to have a nice multiplayer party game to come out the gate with.
Certainly a better multiplayer launch game than 1-2 Switch was.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so your turn. What prediction do you have for the Switch 2?
I can definitely predict we're probably not going to get another Smash title quite yet, considering like Ultimate's supposed to be the ultimate. They might try to sneak some kind of Mario Party thing in, but they did have the Jamboree like just recently, or maybe just maybe they might get Mario and the gang in on some kind of new, different party activity, some new profession / hobby. They might try to go new with this.
Yeah, Ultimate is kind of, I'd say it's kind of interesting because like we know Sakurai is working on a game because like he already said, hey, all the videos from my awesome YouTube channel, they were already pre-made and they were just scheduled out to release. I've been working on a video game this entire time, and I mean everyone's thinking, oh, Kid Icarus port or brand new IP, but realistically, it's gonna be Smash. And I don't think Sakurai, he can't help himself. He can't keep himself away from Smash for too long. But I mean, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Smash now, because like, do they reboot it? Do they just keep adding more stuff in? How do they? Because like, it's Ultimate was kind of like in a world where things could end and IPs could rest, then I'd say Ultimate is the ultimate culmination of Smash. But obviously they won't do that. There's too much money to be made. So yeah, they're probably. I think I agree with you. Smash Ultimate feels more like a year 2 or 3 thing, not launch year window. It's the game that you use to build up, to like keep momentum going rather than like getting everything excited all there at once. And Mario Party, that's an interesting one. That's I could see that happening, though. Like you said, Jamboree was like earlier last year, I think. But yeah, that'd be a quick and easy one. Granted, we know Mario Kart. We know for a fact Mario Kart is a thing that's happening. So I don't know if they want 2 sort of like casual party Mario games out at the same time. But Mario Party, they seem to be relatively easier and cheaper to make than other Mario titles. So maybe they can get away with releasing one like the fall, maybe, and whatnot. So that's your prediction. My next prediction, I think they're gonna announce 3D Mario, because the thing is, there's only a couple of like super big things that you can announce, like push a console like that. You know, you need a 3D Zelda, a 3D Mario, or a new Pokemon thing. And I feel like of those ones, considering that Zelda just had a game not last year but the year before, and Pokemon has EA that's gonna be on Switch 1, I feel like 3D Mario is kind of like the one that makes no sense here. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be open world or if it's gonna be more like a sequel to Odyssey or whatnot. But I feel like it makes sense to have a 3D Mario announced here. So I'd say fall-ish time, maybe winter to like be the Christmas game. That can also work. But 3D Mario, I feel like that's a pretty. A lot of people are predicting 3D Mario, and I'm kind of in agreement. Like, yeah, 3D Mario makes sense. What about you, Stormy? What do you think 3D Mario is gonna be here?
It could be that, but they might try to pull Metroid Prime 4 as their like launch title.
Well, the thing is, Metroid Prime is going to be cross-gen. I don't think a 3D Mario is going to be cross-gen. I think it's just going to be Switch 2. Granted, Zelda Breath of the Wild was also cross-gen, but also the Wii U didn't sell, so I don't think anyone cared that it was cross-gen. But yeah, the thing is, maybe Metroid Prime 4 could be the like, hey, here's what it is on Switch, and here's how much better it is on Switch 2, but I don't feel like that would be treated as like the Switch 2's killer app. I think you need like a new game that's not going to be on Switch 1s that'll do it. But so you're up next. What's your next prediction that you feel?
Do you thinking maybe they might try to bring along a a new Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
Uh,
They haven't really done anything with that in a long while.
no. And the thing is, I know for a fact no, because the team that does Mario and Sonic in the Olympics already said, hey, we want to keep doing this. It's not us that's causing the hold off. It's the Olympics. They basically ended our contract. And like the Olympics are pursuing their own thing and like saying, hey, we want to do other stuff. And you know, they did say it was mobile and NFT garbage. So yeah, I think the Mario and Sonic series is done. At the Olympic Games series is kind of done. I don't think we're gonna get a new one anytime soon.
Understandable. Unfortunate, unless they might do some kind of new IP thing with the two of them.
Alright, like basically Mario and Sonic the Olympics, but without the Olympics branding.
Yes, maybe they're taken to the Coliseum, the Gladiator Coliseum.
Like Smash Bros, but just only Mario and Sonic characters.
Yes, almost like one of those dungeons type games.
Yeah, that's certainly interesting, an interesting idea. My next prediction, the Animal Crossing / Splatoon team, they haven't really been doing a whole lot outside of, like, you know, like I think it's been like a couple of months since Splatoon 3's like major update stuff have kind of ended. So I'm feeling that Splatoon 4 in the summer, because like they did the same thing with Splatoon 2. They announced that and then released it in the summer for the Switch 1's launch. And I think that was a really smart idea, putting like this big competitive multiplayer game out in the summer and just having that be the title to anchor that part of the schedule. So I think Splatoon 4 makes sense because like the only other thing that team would be working on is Animal Crossing, and I don't think that Animal Crossing is going to be in this sort of like launch year window. So I'm feeling Splatoon 4 summer. That sounds good to me. What do you think, Stormy?
Yeah, it's most likely. I don't have a lot of thoughts on Splatoon, unfortunately.
I mean, fair. I don't play Splatoon either, but I have a lot of friends who are super into Splatoon. Like they are competitive level good, you know. So
yeah, I don't have my squid brain in tune.
Not a squid kid. I mean, welcome to the club. So, like, you know, summer this year makes sense for that kind of like competitive multiplayer game. You think?
Yeah, definitely. Gotta get the multiplayer games.
Yeah. What's another prediction you got?
Not too much. Yeah, I don't really got any ideas.
You know, I guess then we'll just kind of go down kind of the list of my other predictions that I have here and just kind of comment on whatever you think. I think they will like put out a new IP because Nintendo kind of like puts out about one every console generation. Like they had ARMS at the last one of these like big Nintendo presentation things for the Switch, and before that they had Splatoon as their new IP for the Wii U era, and the Wii had the like the Mii's and the Wii Sports and all that stuff as the new IP, and you know GameCube had Pikmin. So Nintendo's gonna have a new big IP for the Switch 2, and I couldn't tell you what it's about because I'm not the creative type that's working at Nintendo making the things, but I do feel like they'd want to show off at least one like kind of big new IP that they're gonna push here, just like show, hey, we're still innovating, we're still coming up with new ideas here. We're not resting on our laurels with the IP we have. So it's like a new IP. I feel like that's a pretty solid prediction.
Yeah.
Don't really have any ideas if that's or what either what it could be or when it could come out.
Unfortunately, we're in the realm of imaginations, infinite possibilities.
A lot more creativity than normal for like other announcements.
Okay, exactly. They're not digging.
Yeah, so I guess my next prediction is like a big third-party exclusive game. Like, for example, I keep going back to the Switch 1 presentation because that's kind of like our precedent at this point. But in that one, they announced a new Shin Megami Tensei game and Octopath Traveler. Those like, hey, here's our big third-party exclusive games for the Switch. So like just to like make you know that we are serious about this third-party stuff. It's not going to be like the Wii U where no third-party wanted to come to us. we have third parties. Here it is. And granted, for the Switch 2, they don't have to do that as much, which is why I also don't think there's not going to be as much focus on third party. If I'm going to skip ahead to a prediction here, but at the very least, they might show off one or two big third party games. I think Square Enix is the most likely to show this off, because they seem to have a really good relationship with Nintendo. They put out a lot of important stuff. They had the first Octopath Traveler game, and that was pretty successful for them, considering that they got a decently sized little series out of that. So that's good. I could also see Sega, because they did the Shin Megami Tensei, but I'm a little less confident on that, because it seems like they kind of repeat themselves. I could see them doing an exclusive Sonic game, but at the same time, I don't know if Sega's nervous about that, because last time they did that, it blew up in their face. So, again, but like, not ruling out an exclusive Sonic. And another company I think that could also do a big exclusive third-party game is Capcom, because Capcom also has a really strong relationship with Nintendo. Maybe like a follow-up to Monster Hunter Rise, considering how massive that game was when it came out. But yeah, just some third party is gonna come out and say, hey, we are proud to work with Nintendo to create this IP exclusive for the Switch. Whether it's Square Enix or Capcom or Sega or whatever,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. But like, that's one thing I think that'll happen. Stormy, do you have any?
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I don't have any predictions for like exclusive IPs. They might eventually bring that Metal Gear Solid 3 remake to the Switch. They had a version of MGS3 on the Nintendo, on the 3DS, although you had to have like some like special peripheral to truly enjoy it. But thinking they might try to, just for old time's sake, have that one on there to also just show how strong the system has become.
So like Konami, you think is gonna be well, not exclusive because Metal Gear Solid 3 is coming to other consoles, but like, you think, hey, for like look at how powerful this, like this Switch is equivalent to this thing runs Doom 2016 from the Switch 1 would be Metal Gear Solid 3. You think that'd be?
Yeah.
That could be.
I think that's in the realm of possibilities.
You see, so yeah, their third-party exclusive game. My next prediction. I don't think Microsoft is going to show up here, because, but like, if they do, they're going to show off the whatever new Call of Duty they have on Switch, because like, legally they're obligated to make a Call of Duty game for Switch. They have to legally do that unless they want their Activision Blizzard thing to go to not happen. Like, so yeah, I don't think Microsoft's going to be here. I think Nintendo would rather be more first party focused, and if they do third party, it's not going to be to one of their rivals. But if they are there, it's going to be Call of Duty that they'd show off. Just like, again, it's one of those things where we have, because like the Switch one had like a bunch of like, wow, this is running on a portable console thing moments, you know, like that's one of like the feelings you get, and like the Switch 2 has to invoke that somehow, and it's going to be a lot harder to do that this time, because it's the party trick isn't as exciting anymore. But I feel like Call of Duty, considering that Call of Duty wasn't on the first Switch at any point, I feel like that's a pretty good way of showing, hey, look at how much more powerful this thing is, you know? And especially if they get it up to like content parity with whatever else Microsoft is putting out for Call of Duty, then that could be really impressive. Got any thoughts, yeah. Stormy?
No thoughts on Microsoft.
Like, you think Call of Duty will be there or not, or nah?
I don't think so. They're busy with their battle passes, skins, purchases. I don't think they're gonna be getting on any new stuff quite soon for Nintendo. Well then,
so my next prediction is something new from Monolith's. Like, Monolith's next big project, basically. Whether it's another Xenoblade thing, or if it's a brand new IP, or if they're working on a different Nintendo IP. Because like, Monolith works on Zelda, they work on Pokemon, they work on they help a lot with a lot of Nintendo stuff, because Monolith's really good at what they do. But I feel like Monolith this seems like a good place to show off whatever next big exciting thing Monolith is doing. Granted, I don't think it's gonna be out soon because they literally just finished with Xenoblade Chronicles X, the port of that. Granted, it's a port, so there's not as much work that needs to be done. But like, at the very least, I feel like they'll at least show that hey, Monolith is working on something, and here's what it is. Have you played any Monolith games, Stormy? And do you have any thoughts or ideas about Monolith possibly showing up here?
If I have played a Monolith game, I probably just haven't like really remembered the name, so I can't really say too much on what they might do. If anything, they might be a part of whatever new IP that Nintendo tries to go with.
Oh, that is true. The new IP could be a Monolith project. That's good. That's a good way of merging those two together. So yeah, I guess two things that I don't think are going to be there. I don't think we're going to get a new Zelda. A new like big 3D game because we just got Breath of the Wild, and a big new 2D game because we just got Echoes of Wisdom. So like two new things are off the table. I also feel like they're not going to show off Wind Waker Twilight Princess because that's not kind of the thing you want to show off at like this big exciting direct. Like, oh, ports of 20-year-old games, that's not impressive, that's not exciting. That's like a thing, that's like an ancillary thing that you put like fill in the space between other big releases. That's not something you want to open up your big exciting new console with. So I don't think they're going to show off Wind Waker Twilight Princess. I'm not saying that they're not going to happen ever on Switch 2, but just like that's not something that they're going to like get really hyped up and excited about for this Switch presentation. And the other thing I don't think that they're going to show off, I don't think they're going to focus as much on third parties, because the thing is with the Switch 1 and its original presentation is that we were coming off of the Wii U era where nobody wanted to like put their third party games on these things. Nobody at all. And so because of that, they had to like prove that they could, that like, hey, third parties are on board. Don't worry about all of the games that you were excited for from the other guys coming to us. It's coming to us. Please stay with us here. So I don't feel like there's going to be as big of a third party focus as there was in the last presentation. I feel like they want to show, hey, these are the big new exciting things that we're doing. If anything, like I said, maybe they'll show off like one big exciting new thing from a third party, but not like a bunch of different things like they did with the first one. And the only like exception I'm thinking of is like maybe EA, because Madden's not on the Switch 1, so like maybe just saying, hey, yeah, we finally got that on here, and there will be like rejoicing from like a bunch of people and then bemoaning from others because, shocker, that series is a little controversial. But yeah, just not as much focus on third party stuff and no new Zelda stuff. Those are kind of like my like, no, this isn't gonna happen things. You got any thoughts on those two, or do you have any thoughts on like something that you think you hear a lot of people talking about, but you think it's not gonna happen at this presentation direct?
Yeah, I don't got any thoughts on that, but one idea I did get, though, is that maybe they might try to do a little reboot for some F-Zero stuff, since they had that one like big F-Zero, almost like that one like, yeah, since they had that, they might try to kind of make an actual revitalized title for the F-Zero series after oh so long.
That's interesting, but I kind of don't agree, because I feel like that's more in the Rhythm Heaven Tomodachi Life tier, where like they have very dedicated fans, but not a lot of people actually play those games. So like if they were gonna announce an F-Zero thing, they would have probably done it in the last direct. Like that's not like a tentpole like big thing to get you excited for Switch 2. That's a fan passion thing that'll keep people there. With that said, that's still there's still a lot of potential there. There's still a lot of possibilities. I just don't think that Nintendo would do, because like I feel like they already used up their dormant IP that people have been claiming for thing on those two. But yeah, we could see a Switch 2 be finally when they revive F-Zero. Next kind of like downer thing that I gonna put down as prediction. I think NSO will be a little disappointed. Like they're gonna talk about it a lot, and it's gonna be like, oh, like just not a very very confidence-inducing showing of it. It's going to be like clearly, okay, we're not transferring everything over, and we're going to get drip fed again, all that content. I don't think we're going to get GameCube stuff. Maybe we might get DS, but I think GameCube, that Nintendo's more comfortable with remastering those than they are with putting them on NSO. Like, yeah, I feel like that's kind of like, we're not going to get a lot of very good news about that. It's just going to be like more of the same, more of the kind of like NSO being very lackluster, and like I really feel like we're not going to get any of the games that are already on NSO onto the Switch 2, and that they're going to drip feed us like our NES games and our SNES games and all those again, because they really like to do that, and it's really frustrating. But you got any other thoughts on NSO? Whether it could be like, whether it's with like the NES Online and SNES Online, the expansion pack, or and pretty much anything NSO related. You think you got any thoughts on that they could be showing here?
They maybe might try bringing back some of those F-Zero 99 or Mario 35 titles onto like the Switch Online.
I see. Revitalizing those battle royale games. Do they still have? Yeah, they still have Tetris 99 and Pac-Man 99 on there. But yeah, that could be a cool thing. But I also have my reservations still, because like those were, because like, wait, F-Zero 99 is still going, right?
I don't know.
I think it's just Mario 35 that got shut down, and if that's the case, then that kind of makes that even more unlikely. But you can always hope, you can always dream. Do you think that Nintendo will finally get their online to not be garbage doo-doo butter? Because, oh my god, NSO is really bad. Like, it doesn't feel like it's improved at all from the Wii U era. Like, Smash Online is still terrible, and just, you think that this is finally the time that they at least say, hey, we are trying to make it better, you know?
I'm thinking that they'll say that they're trying, but it won't be that much of an improvement. It'll be an improvement, but with how much powerful or stuff that's going on with the new games, it will just be like same quality. Same overall quality.
Alright, so I guess we'll start wrapping it up here. Quick, what do you think the release date and the price is going to be for it?
Release date, I would say probably later in the year, like in the second half of the year.
Oh, so...
And price, probably cheaper than like the big boy PlayStation 5, Xbox. I forgot what it was called, the refrigerator.
Xbox Series X, Series S, Series whatever.
Yeah, one of those. I'm thinking it's we're gonna try to compete against those big boy prices.
Yeah, so
but then again, they may need money.
So you say second half of the year. So you're feeling more so fall winter than you are spring summertime?
Correct.
See, that'd be disappointing, but because like personally, I'm feeling like either late May or early June. I think June 6th, which is like a Friday, I feel like that's the perfect spot for it. You know, because like right summer start, and like kind of like having that, it gives them, because like with the Switch 1, they released it in March, and then every month they had a new big exciting game that came out until in the winter when, oh my god, look at this library of games, this is incredible, I gotta buy one this Christmas. And I feel like them releasing it in the summer and then doing that same thing where like each month is like a new big important game to like lead up to the winter where you go, oh my god, this lineup is great, I gotta get it for Christmas. I think that's a smart tactic to repeat here, and I feel like that late June or late May, early June is the right time for that. As for the price, I put down here $400, and I say that the market's just too competitive right now. And the thing is, you're thinking and talking about like PlayStation and Xbox, that, oh, okay, those are the competition, those are what Nintendo is trying to focus on competing against. I don't think they need to worry about those two. I think they need to worry more about the Steam Deck, and like all the like the PC handhelds that are like Steam machines that you can take on the go. Because like the market is so much different than it was 7 years ago, 8 years ago, when the Switch 1 came out, because like the Switch 1 was kind of the only thing like it on the market, but now like everyone and their mother has made a handheld PC that looks like the Switch, and so because of that, Nintendo needs to be a little more competitive in their price. They can't just like willy-nilly just like, oh, $300, why not? Well, they're not going to do $300 now because inflation. But I feel like $400, that's the same price as the Steam Deck, like the base model Steam Deck. And I feel like they'll offset that by like maybe doing something upgrade wise for the Switch 2 that'll like be slightly better than that to like make the $400 look better. But I feel like 400's it's a strong price in the sense that it's more than the original Switch, but it's still competitive against the sea of all the other like handheld PCs that are like the Switch.
Definitely.
So, what else? You think that there's just going to be one SKU, or are there going to be multiple SKUs of the Switch at launch? I don't think there's going to be multiple SKUs. I feel like they'd rather stick with the Switch ones of just the one that you can get, and like maybe they say, oh hey, we have this deal with whatever, like I don't know, Amazon or GameStop or Target or whatever, saying, hey, if you buy this, we'll throw in 3 months of NSO alongside it or whatnot. But like outside of that, maybe pretty much I think they're just gonna stick with the one.
Probably.
Yeah. So that's kind of our predictions for the Switch 2. You got any final thoughts you want to say for the Switch 2, and what do you think's gonna happen?
I hope they have a specific like IP like special version for the Joy-Cons pretty soon, and not like in the middle of the console's life. That'd be pretty nice to have some little special something.
Yeah, you want special edition Joy-Cons early on, not late ons when with the Switch 2. You think that they'll what is it? Are all the hardware like announcements that will just be the stuff we saw in the leaks, or do you think that they got something up their sleeve for like?
Probably. If maybe there wasn't a leak, they wouldn't have. But I'm thinking maybe since there was, they're gonna try to kind of like subvert everyone's expectations and release some kind of extra hardware thing.
All right, great. So yeah, just there's not a lot of questions, but at the same time there is a lot of questions. Like obviously the leaks have spoiled quite a bit about it hardware wise, but we still pretty much nothing in terms of software with the Switch 2, and that's the real exciting part, because Nintendo's bread and butter is software. It's not hardware. They are a software first video game company, and so there's a lot
software and innovation.
Yeah. So just a lot of things we don't know, and a lot of stuff still yet to learn about this Switch 2. But it's an exciting time. It's been forever. Like I said, 8 years since the Switch 1. I was in middle school when the first Switch came out. That it was that long ago. Just it's exciting again to get back into the Switch, like the new release of a console cycle, and this time it's not as dire and as desperate as it was during the transition from Wii U to Switch to the original Switch, because oh my god, let me tell you, going through the launch of that was very nerve-wracking, because if it didn't work out, Nintendo might have been super screwed. And like it's a lot more chill this time around, and a lot more exciting because there's not as much pressure to do well. So, and granted, maybe that's concerning in the sense that Nintendo might rest on their laurels a little here and not push as hard as they did for the Switch 1. But hopefully they have learned their lesson from the Wii U era, and they won't do that. So, got any final thoughts here, Stormy, on the Switch 2, the release, the Direct this Wednesday, and just the Switch 2 hype in general?
I think we're going to be in yet another golden age.
You think this will go smoothly and we'll continue the good times will keep on chugging?
I think it'll go as smoothly as Splatoon slime.
Yeah, so there you have it. Thank you for watching this Nintendo Direct presentation, predictions, as well as discussion on the last week's Nintendo Direct thing. I'm Daniel, that is Stormyman, and we thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. and join me as hopefully I'll be able to live stream the direct on Wednesday and like have my initial reactions out there. So again, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye.
Bye bye.